Hi, I'm Mrs. Melanin.
And I'm Beleaf Mel.
And we're here with episode 44 of
How Married Are You?
It's Chocolate Baby Story Time.
So, as a parent, as a stay-at-home parent, you try to find your wins in a day.
Mm.
And so today, my win, it actually ended up happening twice. But I saw Anaya going in the corner over by the bassinet.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, she's about to go poop. And I was like, Naya, you got to go poop? And she goes, yeah. And I was like, well, we're not going to poop in our diaper. And then I was like, come here. Did you already start pooping? So I pulled her diaper and peeked in, and she hadn't started pooping. So I pulled down her pants. But when I pulled down her pants, there was a piece of poop stuck in between her butt crack.
Mm.
So I ran her over to the toilet and sat her on the toilet, and she pooped in the real toilet. I didn't even have to clean out the whole potty, which was nice.
That's a win.
That is a win. And then later today, it happened again. I was able to sit her on the toilet so that she could go potty on the toilet. So I'm winning.
Yeah, well, when she woke up this morning, she definitely pooped on herself.
Mm.
Yeah, and it was everywhere. I'm just going through my little reel of security cam footage to see what I can pull up. I feel like the kids have they get a superpower when they're in our bed. And if they start the morning in our bed, then the day goes significantly much more exciting and better for them.
Mm.
It's rougher for me. The other morning, Ryan was just on one, and he was trying to choke me out and fight and kick. One time, I had the baby in my hands, and he wrapped his hands around my neck, but he kind of slowly punched Uzziah.
Mm.
He's just always,
Mm.
And then you came downstairs and was helping him make the pancakes, and he's got pancakes on his back. He's got pancakes on his chest and syrup on his fingers. And I just look at him like, man, at some point, his glow up is going to be the greatest thing ever. He's going to, you know what I'm saying?
I feel like it's already great, but I understand what you're saying.
Nah, I don't. I feel like he's got a long way to go, just as far as noticing how his actions prevent other people from being happy sometimes.
Mm.
But I feel like he's considerable sometimes when it comes to protecting his brother and his sister.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
But as far as I'm concerned, nope. Yeah. So, words of affirmation. What are words of affirmation?
Words of affirmation are an opportunity for you to let us know what keeps you coming back each week. Why do you keep listening to How Married Are You? What is it that you're getting from How Married Are You that is edifying or uplifting or encouraging or inspiring or whatever? Let us know so that we can keep pushing along on this journey.
Yeah. And words of affirmation can be left on our YouTube. No, not on YouTube. Anchor, and through voice memo, or if you just scroll all the way down to the end of the show notes, whatever you're listening to this on, you can find the words of affirmation, and or you can also send us a DM on, what is it? Instagram.
How married are you?
Yeah, Instagram. How married are you? You can send us a DM through that, and then. How else can you send it? Oh, our phone number. Leave us a Google voicemail at 760-335-6643. And right now we're going to listen to James and those words of affirmation.
What we're going to do right here is go back.
Hi, Glen and Yvette. I just wanted to let you guys know that my girlfriend and I love listening to y'all's podcast so much. We admire how vulnerable and honest you are about what it's like to be married and to raise kids, especially because we're a young Black Christian couple that aspires to be able to do those things one day. I also really appreciated that Yvette responded to feedback that I gave about the podcast really quickly.
And you don't stop. stop. To the beat, y'all, and you don't stop. A freak, y'all, and you don't stop. To the beat, y'all, and you don't stop. A freak.
Appreciated that Yvette responded to feedback that I gave about the podcast really quickly. Please keep putting out the great content through the podcast and Belief in Fatherhood. We'll definitely be watching and listening.
All right. Thank you, James, for those words of affirmation. We really appreciate the feedback. Sometimes, like even this last episode we put out, some people were talking about how the volume was too loud during the words of affirmation part, and I was sure to turn it down this time. And so that type of feedback is very helpful. So yeah, we appreciate everything that you guys are sending to us. And yes. All right. So are we going to hop into this topic?
We're going to hop into this topic.
All right. Are we going to address the elephant in the room? All right. Let me just tell y'all. First of all, you're going to see a lot of like
spit up
slobber and stuff because I was trying to put Uzi, like relax Uzi, but he was hungry. And Yvette was putting the kids to bed. And so there's a bunch of slobber all over me. But then I'm just gonna be honest, Yvette and I haven't like really been talking lately. We're faking it right now. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think we're faking it. I just think we're talking.
Yeah, we're just talking. So there might be an element of coldness, like a little bit of a cooler temperature to this podcast, but we are gonna try to. No, we're just gonna continue to operate, but we're not gonna. I don't even know if we're gonna discuss anything, but yeah.
Already, this is the most we've talked since Sunday. Today is Wednesday, and this podcast is going to be put out tomorrow on Thursday.
But I was the one that spoke the last words, right? I just want to say, like, I was waiting for you to respond since Sunday. But anyway, go ahead.
So, a few days ago, I put out a poll on Instagram where I asked, what are your preconceived notions of marriage? What were they? What are they? And all that good stuff. And so I'm just going to go through those and we are going to respond to what they were. The first one that I wrote down was, we would do everything together.
Do everything together. That's cute. What does that mean?
Like, I think do everything together. Go to the movies. Do extracurricular things together.
Yeah, let me think. Do everything together. No.
Yeah, we don't do everything together.
It's not because we don't want to. Like, let me think of some things that you like to do that I don't like to do.
Dance.
Well, I like to dance.
Okay, we're gonna move on.
Yeah. But some things are like,
I'd like to go to a roller skating rink.
oh, okay. I think it's different when you have as many kids.
What was that?
I have no idea.
It wasn't.
Wipe it on your chair. No, I don't think that. I don't mind going to a roller skating rink.
Babe, I've invited you to a roller skating rink and you were like, no.
I think you said you want to go to the roller skating rink.
You were like, why would we want to just go around in circles? That's exactly what you said. Does that sound like something you would say?
Definitely sounds like something I would say. But it's like, come on, left turn, straight, left turn. You know what I'm saying?
Bottom line, we don't really do everything together. I don't really know what we do. Like Glen likes to
You don't know what we do together? We used to do a lot together.
We used to
do like kayaking. Mm-hmm. That was fun. We used to play tennis all the time. Mm-hmm. Hikes. Mm-hmm. I still like to go on hikes. It's just that when we started to go on the hikes, she's like, oh, let's go on a hike. And then we start walking up and it was such a beautiful day. Then we get to the top of the mountain. You want to bring up some issue that I have been like avoiding addressing. And then like the whole time on the way down, like we have to discuss, you know, I really think you should go to school or something like that. And so it's true.
Yeah, but I still like to go on hikes with our children.
Yeah. I don't mind doing that.
You don't. I think it was the last podcast you said, I'm allergic to the outside. You don't like doing anything outside.
No, that's not true. I like doing stuff outside, but I don't like doing stuff when it's super hot outside because I get headaches from outside.
Okay, Glenn.
Okay.
Okay. So the next time I ask for us to go on a hike with the kids, we're going on a hike.
Sure.
Okay.
If we can plan it like early in the morning and like, you know, do all the things, sure.
Okay.
But I mean, it is a lot though. You know what I'm saying?
See?
It's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm down to hike though.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go hiking.
Okay. So to answer y'all's question, no,
No.
you will not do everything together. You will do some things, and that's okay. I think it's okay that you don't do everything together. I think it's valuable to have something that is uniquely yours and that you enjoy. For example, Glenn enjoys playing disc golf. I don't really enjoy playing it, but I've gone once with him, you know, just so that I could kind of get an experience of what it's like.
And I think you went on your birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were dressed very like cute and had earrings and all that stuff. I was like, are you sure you want to do that?
Number 2, there's a lot. I don't know if we're going to make it through the whole list, but my spouse would make me happy.
Oh, God, no.
Jeez.
Right?
Okay. I mean, but you didn't have to be so enthusiastic about it.
But I mean, think about it. Like your spouse would make you happy. That is a huge amount of like
responsibility
and set up for disappointment.
Yeah.
You know, that is just not going to happen like that. And I think that everyone should know that, you know. Your spouse, you know, your spouse is not going to make you happy. They might do things that, you know, support things that you enjoy, or they might add to your happiness, but I don't think they're gonna make you happy. The thing they're definitely gonna do is make you upset. You know what I'm saying? Because and you don't even know what that stuff is yet because it hasn't happened yet. You know, it could be like, oh man, why wouldn't you put the dirty clothes in the hamper instead of putting it right next to the dirty clothes? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that type of stuff is infuriating but you don't know you don't know that stuff is going to irritate you yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
The pettiness just comes out of nowhere when you're married, for sure.
Yeah. I'm going to move on from that one. I think that one's kind of, you know, yeah. This one was one, I'm going to actually read both of these together because they both came up so often. Like it was repetitive. But that my sex drive would be as high as my husband. It was mostly that it would be as high as my husband, and then I would put like spouse, just in case, because you know some women have high sex drives. And this part B of that was sex would be a regular occurrence, like that we'd always be having it. My preconceived notion is that sex would just be a natural thing that happened, and it would be in the heat of the moment versus having to be scheduled or talked about, like we're gonna have sex tonight, you know what I mean? Like I thought it was just gonna be natural and effortless. I thought it was gonna be like the movies.
Yeah, I don't necessarily I don't this is difficult because it's different on case by case basis. So as far as sex drive would be as high as your spouse's, I don't know how to like respond to that. Like, what do you think?
What do you mean?
Like, is that like, that's a preconceived notion, but is that something that's like, I mean, like for our situation, it was totally different. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I think for the majority of the years that we've been married, you were kind of like, what is sex? You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, there was like something I think you probably desired to do, but weren't really sure about how to enjoy it or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And so,
or even that I was allowed to.
Yeah. And then, like, I don't know. I think that, you know, it being natural, I don't know. I just don't think that is it could be, it could be two people who are very like compatible in that way, and it's like, yo, I'm always ready to go, so just let me know. You know what I'm saying? And then other people may be like, this season I'm gonna take off. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not feeling well. And so I feel like that these type of things just should be I think what should be natural instead of the occurrence of sex is the conversation. Talking about sex has to be something that is healthy and that happens on a consistent basis, I feel. What do you think?
Yeah, I would agree. Because, I don't know, I feel like we're always changing. Our desires are always changing. Our, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, what makes us feel good changes too. I feel like when I was working out, I had a different type of sex drive than I do currently, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You ready to move on?
Yeah.
Okay, romance is only important pre-kids. False.
Yeah, that's not true.
It's even more important after the kids.
Even more important. Okay.
Would you agree?
I would agree that it is. I would agree that it is. I would agree that it is more. Like it's better post kids because, like you understand the sacrifice that went into it and the effort. Like I remember when before, like I would get you flowers and before we were married, or like before we had kids, and it's kind of like thanks, like you appreciate it, but it wasn't like. But I know if I brought you some flowers home today, like you'd probably freak out about that. It'd make you way happier.
It just makes you feel seen. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So it's important. Compromise is 50-50.
No.
No?
I don't think so.
What do you think they mean by that statement, though?
Like you would sacrifice as much as they would sacrifice?
Okay, yeah. That's not true.
Yeah. Why are you laughing so hard?
Because I just know it's not true.
Okay, so what is your example?
I don't have any examples. I'm just saying it's not true.
Well, you certainly did find it funny. So what are your thoughts?
No thoughts. I'm just saying, like, yeah, sometimes somebody's losing more than the other.
I'd say always someone's losing more. I think that your sacrifice may be more to you because it's something you're not used to giving up, and the other person may be sacrificing something else that they're kind of like, yo, I didn't sign up for this, or I think I deserve more support here, or, I don't think it's 50-50. It's literally like 100-100. Like you're going to give up things. You're going to give up a lot, but those, like, what that actually turns into is just excess weight, not really stuff that may have been needed, but you're giving up things in order to love each other. So it's like you're both losing maybe 50% of yourself to become a new 100 or something like that. Maybe. I don't know.
Marriage is eternal.
What?
Marriage is eternal. Like, I don't think they meant to say eternal. I think they meant to say forever. Which, I think that would be a preconceived notion that I had as well. But the more older I am now, I feel like I know better. That it's not forever.
You got something to tell me or what? Like, what does that mean?
I mean, like, I am planning on forever, but I've definitely been a part of not been a part of relationships, but I've definitely observed some relationships that probably should have ended. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, when you say marriage is eternal, like, I feel like that's you know, like when you die, you're not gonna be married anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, your souls are still separate. You know, yeah. But marriage should, like, I think that when you're getting into marriage, like when you're thinking about marrying someone, like both of you should know whether it's for the long haul or not. And sometimes you think it's for the long haul, and then you get in there and you're kind of like, man, like, I don't know if I can take this. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, that conversation needs to be had. It's like, hey, I'm not doing well in this area, or I'm not doing, like, as long as you can communicate. I think communication is like the key for most of the things of that, because what you need to come into the relationship saying is, here are my preconceived notions. I think that we are going to have natural sex all the time, and it's going to be, I'm going to always feel like I'm swept off my feet. And then somebody else could be like, nah, that ain't how it's going to go at all. Or that's not even possible. You know what I'm saying? Or I don't know what that means. Like, what's the plan for that? So I feel like everyone should know, like, what their expectations are so that they can discuss those things. Do you think we would have had, I'm not going to say better success, but I'm going to say, like, I think we would have had, I don't know, like, what am I trying to say? Like, we would have had.
Are you trying to say we would have been more successful if we would have put our preconceived notions out there at first?
No, I just, like, the communication about some of the expectations, I feel like would have been something that we could have been like, oh, well, actually, I don't know what that means. Or, you know, it would have allowed us to have a lot more grace with each other in the beginning, you know? Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. You get sick of being around the person all the time.
Do you get sick of being around me?
I never get sick of being around you.
Really?
I got sick of being around. Well, it wasn't sick, but it was just kind of like it was kind of like a reality that hit me in the face on our honeymoon. Like on the third morning when I woke up and I realized he was there, it was kind of like, wow, you really aren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Which wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but it was kind of like, you know, you wake up on your own most mornings and then you're waking up to somebody every morning. It was kind of strange, but it wasn't like a bad thing. It was just different.
Yeah. And I would say, I don't think, you know, I definitely haven't, you know, gotten sick of being around you, but I have needed space, you know, and just, but sometimes, like, because of, you know, past whatever, it's like, I feel like I'm not entitled to space because that makes you feel like that I can't, like, withstand or stay around or something, you know what I'm saying? So instead of leaving when I should go get my space, I'll stay around and just suffer because I don't want you to get the idea that I'm not in it for the long haul or something. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like there have been, like, sometimes, like, when I've been like, yeah, I gotta go out of town. Like, I don't want to go because, like, I physically can't go because I feel like I'm going to be gone or miss something, or, like, I don't like to leave. You know what I'm saying? You know, if something happens, I want to be here, you know? But sometimes I should have gone, or I should always go, you know what I'm saying? To go, like, enjoy myself and, like, do the thing I'm supposed to go do. Do you understand that?
I'm just trying to think of a time that you didn't go.
I've probably always gone.
Yeah.
But I feel sick when I go. Like, I can't sleep. I get, like, anxiety on the plane.
Okay.
Well.
But you got your space. You get more space than I get.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, I'll go to London and stay in the hotel the whole time.
Well, that's your problem.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Next.
I always try to encourage you to get out and explore.
Yeah, it's not your fault. I'm saying that I, like, you know, there was a time when I did go and travel, and it was kind of like, it just seems like I'm having the time of my life. You know what I'm saying? I felt bad about that. You know what I mean? So I think subconsciously, like, I'll just do it with Yvette whenever we go. You know what I'm saying? So anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree that I don't necessarily get sick of you, but there are times when I just need space to be in my own space, apart from children and apart from husband, and just like I'm one of those people that enjoys the quiet and enjoys the nothingness. Like if we are,
you like to drive in silence.
I like to go in a car and just drive in silence, or I just like it to be quiet. So yeah, I don't think you get sick of them, but you might get, just need some space. This person wrote this comment and then I summarized it. So I'll read their comment and then I'll tell you how I summarized it. They said, never wanted to have my parents' marriage. So I thought it was just too risky to embrace. And so I summed it up as my parents' marriage is what all marriages are like.
Yeah.
Which is intense. When I read that, I was like, I wonder what my kids think about marriage right now. Like, how do they view marriage?
I think they'll be able to understand more when they get older. I just think they're like really entertained. Like when we're arguing, and we don't argue that much, but when we do, and it's in like, and they're in earshot, like they're entertained. They're not like scared
or bored. This weekend when we were arguing, I looked back and Raya was asleep.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's because he was tired. He said he was going to go to sleep while in the car.
No, he said that on the way, not on the way back.
Yeah, but he fell asleep. But like, I'm just saying, like, I don't think every relationship is like your parents' relationship. I think you have your parents' DNA, which is terrifying.
Yeah.
And so that can, a lot of their issues may just come up, out of nowhere. You might just notice things like, I never even knew I had this expectation, but I remember that I saw my parents do this, and now this is something I think that you should be doing. Like,
for example, with me, for what I've always observed is my dad was always like, okay, the tires need to be rotated. It's time for an oil change. Like everything involving the car, he handled. On Sunday nights, he'd take the cars and put gas in them. And so that was kind of an expectation that I had of Glenn, but I didn't realize that I expected that from him because I had grown up observing my dad do that all the time.
And you definitely didn't marry the car guy.
And I definitely didn't marry the car.
You'd be like, babe, the tires need to be rotated. And I'm like, really? That's crazy.
Yeah. So
your dad taught me how to do an
oil change. Yeah.
Like that was like the stipulation before we got married was that we had.
I don't know if that was a stipulation.
That's what he told me.
He did. Because he always took really good care of my car, or he like was keeping track of when stuff was supposed to be happening. So I think our parents' marriages give us, or the lack thereof, because I know a lot of people grow up in single parent homes.
Yeah.
But it does give us kind of like we're being programmed, whether we want to be or not. Or maybe we're not being programmed, but we're being, we're exposed to things that we can either carry into our marriage or make a pointed effort to prevent from happening in our marriage.
Yeah.
So, and it's kind of funny sometimes how like you can kind of observe things happening and like, for example, for me, like in my house and when growing up, my dad was kind of, well, if he hears this, he hears it, but my dad was kind of the villain and my mom was kind of like the what's the opposite of the villain? The hero. And so like, I feel like that's happening where.
Yeah.
I feel like that's happening here.
So chocolate baby story time. Okay. One more time for you.
Uh-oh.
This was bad.
No.
So.
Are you about to talk about?
Yeah. So. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't. One of the kids. I'm not gonna say which one, but if you get it, you get it. They were sick, and so they were like throwing up like night after night after night, like 3 nights in a row. But they kept throwing up on the carpet. So then we put a bowl next to their bed, And they kept missing the bowl and still throwing up on the carpet. So one night when Yvette wasn't home, this particular child throws, like, I come in the room and he's like, I threw up on the bed and on the carpet. I'm like, man, all right, cool, whatever. He throws up on the bed and on the carpet, but he pees inside of the bowl.
It's not funny. I'm sorry.
So I said, why did you pee in the bowl? He said, because I didn't feel like getting up. And I was just like, all right, so get your sleeping bag. You're sleeping on the floor in the bathroom, because I'm tired of having to clean up after you because you can't get to the toilet fast enough. I was like, there's no reason why you should have had time to pee in the bowl when you couldn't throw up in the bowl. Now, it's right next to your bed. But I know, sometimes you throw up involuntary. Like, it's happened to me before, and I just was on the way to the bathroom and just blah, like all over the place. But 3 nights in a row, and I was in my petty, and I just was like, yo, I'm tired of having to do this. And so Yvette comes home, and she's like, why is the child sleeping on the bed, on the floor? Don't you think that's a little excessive? And I was like, that's my decision. And you wanted to save that child.
It was the hardest thing that I think I deserve some kind of medal, though, because all I wanted to do was tell him to get up and go to bed. But I walked up the stairs and I see like this large lump of something on the floor in the bathroom. And then I look harder and I'm like, wait a minute. So I turn on the light and I'm like, what's going on? And he explained the situation to me. And I'm just like, so we're just going to put our child to sleep on tile floor? So then I come downstairs to try to but mind you, this is the day that Glenn and I got into our little fight or argument. And then, yeah. So anyways, he wasn't really hearing me.
I heard you and I understood what you were saying, but I just could not, I've seen you at your end. And I
would never tell our children to sleep on a tile floor.
Okay. But I've seen you at your end. And you've done things that I don't think is appropriate.
What?
Yeah, like some things I wouldn't do. You know what I mean? So
I would ask for receipts, but I don't know if I want.
But that's your decision. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so, hey, mommy's got it. I remember when I would be at home working with the kids or whatever, and you would come home from work, and then you kind of be like, what's going on with this? And you kind of like just, mommy enough. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that is totally not appropriate. If I made my decision on something and I was the one, the caregiver, then that's what's going to happen. Now you're sitting there talking about, oh, he could have a bad back. And I'm like, first of all, the child is in between the age of 2 and 8. And you don't get a bad back from one night on the towel.
Kids get bad backs and bad knees and legs and all kinds of stuff.
Well, guess what? He won't do.
All right.
He won't do it again.
Moving on. My whole point was we got the good parent, we got the good cop and the bad cop routine going on. And I really don't want to be like that, because the kids, I will literally be like fussing at the kids and all I see is them looking over my shoulder for their dad. And I'm like, dude, I am scary.
You're not.
But I want.
Why do you want to be scary?
And you know what? I don't want to be scary, but I want to be some kind of intimidating. Like, you want your children to have a healthy amount of fear of you, and I don't think my children have any kind of fear.
I don't think fear is necessary. I think respect is it.
Well,
I don't think the kids are scared of me. As much as I get violated, they're not scared of me.
That's true. They're not scared of you. But, okay.
I think I follow through on my word, except with Anaya. Mm-hmm. I can't do it.
Well, hopefully she never hears this.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. That I won't feel or be alone.
That's not true.
That's not true at all.
You feel alone sometimes. Yeah. When you're not connected, when you're not talking, or when you're upset, you feel alone. one person is taking care of the kids and the other person isn't, you feel alone. When one person's bringing home all the income and like bearing the weight of that side, you feel alone. I think we've felt alone in every season, even before we had kids. When you feel unheard, you feel alone because you feel like you're speaking and no one's hearing you. You know, I remember when Yvette was wanting to go on her trip to Big Sur, and we were staying at our aunt and uncle's house, and I know she felt alone. And to make her feel even more alone, she has to get out of the car, and I let her out.
Not in front of the house, y'all.
3 doors down. I can't believe you let me out of the car when you were on your way somewhere. I was like, you said you wanted to get out. You think I'm going to kidnap you? No, thanks. I ain't going to jail.
Yeah. I could cry at that statement because you just feel alone sometimes. And it's not, I don't know if it's necessarily like the other person's fault or anything like that. I just think it is the seasons that we walk through. And the fact that we just won't always understand each other. And sometimes we have to bear the weight of that. We can seek to understand each other. There are ways to do that, but it still will take time. So there's still that moment that we have to feel alone.
Yeah, and sometimes when you tell the person like, man, I feel like I'm alone, and you don't understand, and the person will go, okay. And that's it. You know, it doesn't get better. It you know, at some point it does get better over years. Like, so that's why it is for, you know, somewhat of a lifetime, but like you learn how to recognize someone's patterns and what are some of the things that are going to trigger loneliness. You know what I'm saying? You know, speaking of that, I feel like a part of, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, why I've decided to go ahead with the vasectomy is because I recognize patterns and I'm not trying to go through those patterns again. You know what I'm saying? And so I know that you feel alone, but I do too. You know what I'm saying? So we're both on like these two islands, and you know. Next one.
Yeah. Communication would be easy.
I mean, I don't even know why you read that one.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah, like communication is not easy. It depends on. So like, I feel like I communicate well in my form of communication, which is audible, like talking. You know what I'm saying? She communicates better through the written word. But I don't like to read. And I don't know if you can handle keeping up with my level of conversation. And so communication could be easy if you guys spoke the same language, you know, but some people don't speak the same language.
I don't know if it's necessarily the language, it's communicate the same way. Is that what you're trying to say? We speak the same language.
Yeah, like, I mean, obviously I can read, but, you know, are we going to take the time to do that? You know, am I going to learn to speak in your way? And are you going to learn to speak in mine, you know?
Yeah. Communication is not easy.
And here's a prime example. Yo, I'm going out with the homie. Well, I told you I'm going somewhere tonight. No, you didn't. I put it in the calendar. Like, you wrote it down in the calendar, but you didn't tell me.
Because you get a notification every time something's added to the calendar.
Right. But I get a lot of notifications. You know what I'm saying? Like, look how many missed texts I got.
Babe, we don't have to talk about that, or you know.
367. Anyway. So go ahead.
My wife would be the only one cooking dinner for us. Nah, homie.
Who said that?
That goes into our gender roles episode, which I don't remember what number that is, but
it's like number 2.
It was early on.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if you find a woman that loves to cook, then cool, that's good for you. But I don't know that that's gonna be the case, you know. Unless she's like, yo, I love to cook. I'll cook, you know, I'll meal prep. I'll do da. Then cool. But like that can be very unhealthy.
I was gonna say, even if someone really enjoys cooking,
that's still a lot of pressure.
That's still a lot of work to expect for them to do. Like, I was just sorry. Never mind. I'm gonna say it. I was just thinking this tonight. I was like, we need to really come up with a schedule, because even if like it's just Glenn has a night to do dinner and it's just me not thinking about it, like having to think about dinner, even if he chooses to order takeout or whatever, I'm totally fine with that. I just sometimes want not to have to think about what everybody's going to eat. And it's probably because I'm continually cooking different meals for my kids when I should just force them all to eat the same thing. But we don't need to get into that.
Yeah, because I probably more be like, yo, this is what I'm cooking, and if you're not going to eat it, then you're just not going to eat. And that doesn't work. You know, that doesn't really work well. But, yeah.
This one we kind of have talked about. I forget which episode it was, but being in love is enough.
Being in love is enough? No.
Yeah, you were the one that said that, and
I said being in love was enough?
No.
Oh.
You were the one in the episode before when we talked about it. I don't remember which episode it was, but you said something like, no, it's not. And I think that I had romanticized being in love so much so that I thought it was enough. But it does take a lot of work and effort and care to be married. And so I can love Glenn, but if he doesn't necessarily see that love followed through with action, then it's not enough to carry us through.
Yeah, I think love is only a word that describes what you're willing to do, you know, and so therefore you need to do something, you know. And it's not like I have to. I often feel, you know, like I have to prove my love. You know,
I make you feel like that?
Do you make me feel that I need to prove my love? I don't think you make me feel that way. I think you've said things that kind of made me be like, well, what the heck? You know what I'm saying? But I do believe that I feel like I had to prove my love to you, especially when it became like, you know, what job was I willing to work to make money? That was like, well, I'll do anything for you. Okay, well, go do something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, I don't think that's reciprocal. Like, I don't think you've had to do things to prove your love to me. I think that's that goes back to the whole like love and respect thing. But do you think you've had to? I would not say so.
Okay.
Not in a way that's like, you know, if you don't do this, then I don't think you love me.
And so I've made you do that?
I feel like I felt that way, yeah. Because I was like, yo, I don't want to work at this spot. I want to work at somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? And then it was kind of like, yo, like, you don't get to choose. Like, you should work where you want to work. But at the same time, like, you got to do something, you know?
Yeah, I wasn't about to just, I mean, at that point, we didn't have any children. And so it was like, dude, you're not just going to hang out at home while I go to work every day.
I was working on music, following my dreams, or someone else's dreams, but I was doing something.
Okay. All right, can we move on?
Let's move on.
Okay. Ooh, this one's a good one. Husband has to make more money than me to be the head of the family.
That is really cool that you know that you want it like that.
Oh, I think it's a preconceived notion. I don't know if they necessarily still. Actually, we should have asked, are you are you married or non-married? That would have been interesting to.
Well, I think this is something that I've heard a lot of women say. Like, if you're gonna be running a house, you're gonna have to make more money. Otherwise,
really? You've heard women say that?
Yes, I have.
I feel like it's one of those things where it's like like something it's like one of those stereotypes of marriage. Like the husband's supposed to be taking care of the car and fixing things around the house.
It's a gender role.
It's a gender role. And so I don't know if it's necessarily something, but yeah, I don't know. Because
money doesn't equate leadership. There's a lot of there's a lot of fools making a lot of money.
Amen.
Who can, bring home, $200-300K, but they can't lead a group of men or lead a group of anything.
Or treat their wife like crap.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know if that equates to leadership. So, but I respect whoever said that, because that is a hard thing for, people would think that, but not be able to communicate that. So if that's something that you think, and you find a man who is willing to be down with that, you know what I mean? But it's like, oh, she made, 52,000. I only made 51. So I gotta, this year she's leading. You know what I'm saying? Like, get out of here with all that. But, I don't know. Yeah. That sounds like a lot of drama. Let me know how you're doing in a couple years. Send an email in. Let us know if you found someone, because that'd be interesting to know how that life is going.
Yeah. I'm gonna only read a couple more because we're getting.
Yeah, we're at the point. Yeah.
So this one says we would be on the same page for at least the big things.
That's kind of hard because I don't know what the big things are.
The big things would be vasectomies.
Are you not on the same page? I feel like we were in agreement about it the most part.
I'm totally in agreement about the vasectomy. I just wasn't expecting that I wouldn't be able to prepare for it. You kind of just are like, the vasectomy's happening now. I thought it was going to be happening down the road.
Yeah, I feel like I told you several times that after you had the baby, that was like the first thing I was going to be doing. I was expecting that while you were healing, I was.
Wow. Yeah. So what, you thought?
I thought what? I thought we weren't going to have any more kids.
For sure.
Right, but yeah, see, that's not a for sure thing. You know what I'm saying? Because, when we do engage, there isn't any type of guard or stipulation or stop. You know what I'm saying? It's just yeah. So how were you planning on not having kids without certain type of things in place? Or was it just something you just were going to if God, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm totally done, and I believe you are too. At least at this moment, from what I can gauge.
Okay.
But
I was just giving you an example of a big decision, of big things.
Yeah, but you are on the same page. You're just reading slower than me.
Same page. No, we're in the same book. I'm on chapter 1. You're on chapter 10.
First of all, you're on chapter 4.
What?
On chapter 4. Let's just say we're on chapter 9, page 40.
Okay. Chapter 9, page 40.
9th year, 4 kids. Okay. And I'm ready to turn the page on a chapter, and you're still I love this part.
Okay.
And so, but we are on the same page. You have communicated to me. We have both said that we wanted 4 kids total.
We did.
In the beginning. And that was what we agreed upon. Kids. You got your 4 kids. You know what I'm saying? Now, how life looks right now, and You know, I like to, I feel like we both agree, yeah, it's time. You know what I'm saying? But I understand that you're like, oh man, this is too soon. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like if we wait any longer, then we're going to get pregnant again.
Okay.
So, but I do feel like we're on the same page. But I don't know what to do. So, yeah, you probably won't be on the same page. You'll be in the same chapter.
But that doesn't mean you can't make it to the same page. Maybe somebody will slow down so you can catch up.
Or somebody can skip a few pages and get up to speed on what was agreed upon.
Okay. So, I think that, which one do you want me to read? This one? This
It
one?
gets boring. Marriage gets boring. I mean, it depends on what type of life. Like, if you marry someone who's boring,
Mm-hmm.
then it will get
What's
boring.
that saying? Oh,
There are no bored people, just...
something. Like, you're boring. Like, something. I
Yeah.
gotta look it up. But anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I want to say this last one because I just think it's a good note to end on. But it says it takes hella work, and that is hella true. Yes, it takes a lot of work. So
Yeah. As far as the work aspect, it's... I mean, that's light. To say it's work is light. You know, I think it's more than work. It's like it's like college courses, failing courses, and going to summer school and retaking exams and studying and getting tutoring. Like it's a lot. Like it's hard just to say that it's work. Like it's literally like I'm supposed to love you into heaven. And the depth of that statement, it just can't be summed up with saying that it's hella work. It's very challenging. Even to love someone to that point, they have to be willing to be loved, and to teach someone how to love them. And be patient. And so, on certain things you agree, on certain things you don't agree, and certain things, like, I mean, even through this past year, we've been through a lot. What we agree to do, what we don't. And it's crazy how the same emotions come back every year, regardless of what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, last year when we were talking about the trip to Tennessee, I had the same amount of, like, hurt that you probably have about the vasectomy right now. You know what I'm saying?
and we didn't go to Tennessee.
Oh, I was going to say the same amount of hurt I have about the vasectomy, because I feel like we were both pretty much on board. But I wanted to kind of like throw you a bone and let you live. But I just really don't understand can we talk about this, or do you want to?
I plan to talk about it.
When? After the vasectomy?
No. When you ask me a question.
Oh. Babe, how married are you?
You're ready to stop it now. I'm so married that yesterday, was it yesterday? Yesterday,
That is loud.
I know, but okay, everybody, I'm opening up a bag. I didn't want Glen to see what was in the bag yet. So, sorry, I'll stop. Okay. So yesterday, I realized yesterday was my last appointment with my midwife. And it was strange. Like, it was my last appointment. I'm about to cry. Oh gosh. Okay. No crying. It was my last appointment with my midwife. And I walked out of there and I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, this is my last time, like, having a 6-week checkup after having a baby. Does that make sense? I know that you probably think it's so silly. I don't even know why I'm so emotional about it.
I don't think it's silly.
But there's like an emotional, like, there's an emotional thing. I don't know what's happening to me, and I don't even want to just blame it on hormones. I think it's like losing a relative or something. I know that you think I'm silly. Gosh, this thing is so close. I need tissue. Anyway. No, just I'll use my shirt.
I have tissue right in the back.
Oh, you have tissue?
I think so.
I don't want to be insensitive to anyone who has experienced loss of a loved one, because I know that is a whole different type of grief. But I do feel like I'm losing someone or something. And I don't really know how to explain it, because I'm just not good with words. And to be honest with you, like, sitting down with a pen and paper is something that I really need to get back into. I've been telling myself that for a while, but that is how I process my thoughts and emotions. And so I feel like that's just what I need to do. I've been wanting to sit down and write Glen a letter. The funny thing is that he was saying that earlier, to try to
talk me out of it.
I don't want to, and that's the thing that I'm trying to explain to you. I don't want to talk you out of the vasectomy. I just want more time to, like, close this chapter or come to terms with the fact that, like, you're getting a vasectomy. Yeah, that's cutting off your sperm count or whatever. Or I don't know what a vasectomy actually is, honestly. But it's cutting you off, but it's also cutting me off. Like, it's not just something that's affecting you, but it's something that's also affecting me and my ability to reproduce. And I'm not trying this, like, in all honesty, I don't think that I need to have more children. I'm totally open to adoption. I know you're not, and I don't know. And I'm not saying that we will adopt if you're not on board or whatever, but, like, I don't know how to explain this. Like, I feel like I have reached capacity, and so I don't need to have more children. However, I'm not ready to just cut it off right away. And I know that doesn't even make sense to you in your head, but for me, I need time to get to where you're at, where it's like, oh, let's just snip them, and then the situation's fixed. So anyway, I'm so married that yesterday after my appointment, because I really did have, like, some kind of freak out moment, I was like, okay, let me just figure out something. So I was like, okay, Glenn and I hadn't been talking. So I was planning on apologizing. I was planning on trying to talk to him yesterday. And I felt like I apologized on Sunday, but I guess I didn't apologize in a way that was appropriate. Like, or that was, you know, like sometimes you get an apology and you're like, that was not what I wanted. And I think that's what Glenn is feeling. What's happening?
It wasn't an apology. It was like, I'm sorry, but.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It was like, it wasn't like a, that's not the type of apology I wanted. It just was like, you know, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So anyway, so I got him some things. And I was planning on, like, with each item, I was planning on writing a letter, like writing some kind of note that went with each item to kind of explain, you know, what it was supposed to be about. Which one is this one? Hold on, sorry guys. So the first one was a pair of boxers that have shamrocks on them to say that I know I'm lucky to have you.
Oh, that's
like,
thank you.
Like, I really do love you, and I never want to, like, make you feel disrespected in private or in public. Like, or even when it comes to decisions that we make, because I know that like our argument was about a decision that we made and how that decision was going to be utilized, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I didn't want to make him feel unvalued or unimportant in what the decision that we made. I don't even know if I'm making sense right now. You guys are probably like, what's happening? She's talking in code. But
yeah, it specifically pertains to what happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is basically me saying, like, I'm lucky to have you. Like, you made something happen that I really wanted to happen, and I'm not trying to like take that for granted or not see how you are important in that decision. So that's what that was.
Thank you.
And then I got him a t-shirt that says, I know, I'm awesome. Let's not make a big deal out of it. And so that was my thing to say, like, babe, like, I just like reproducing with you. Like, we make great human beings.
Yeah.
And so, like, awesome people should come from awesome people. So, anywho, I was just trying to be a little silly.
You're making me sad.
I'm sorry. And then I got him, because he's a 5-hour energy dude. He's not a coffee dude. So I got him some 5-hour energy, but not just regular 5-hour energy, extra strength 5-hour energy. To say, like, dude, we can do this. Like, you just need a little more energy.
We can do what?
We can raise 4 children and maybe more or whatever.
Oh my.
We got this. Like, we really do. Like, we're doing great. I know. Honestly, I know. I'm not trying to say that we should have more children. I'm just saying, like, here's a little extra strength to get you through the next few months that I'm asking you to wait to have a vasectomy. And then here is some information on, this was the 4th thing. So do you guys get it? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Birth control pamphlet.
Yeah, this is some, like, I definitely don't like condoms. But there are other options out there.
Pull out game. Pull out.
And so this is a brochure. There's a couple of different brochures. This is the one that I think I'm mostly interested in. But these are a couple of brochures about birth control options that we have in the meantime, while Yvette comes to terms with the fact that you're going to cut her off completely. So this was my, like, I had a whole...
This was very nice.
...thing that I had situated, but I didn't have the guts to talk to you yesterday. I don't know what happened yesterday, but these days have just been... I haven't really... Yeah. So this was my...
This is very sweet. Like, I really appreciate it. Like, I really appreciate it. I don't really know... So I get like anxiety attacks, and what I do is I try to. So that's happening. So what's happening is I'm trying to take deeper breaths as if I'm drowning, and I'm like gasping for air because I don't know what to do with this. And
do you want to know what I'm asking you to do with it?
I understand what you're asking me.
What am I
asking me
asking?
to cancel the appointment and wait.
I'm not asking you to cancel it. I'm asking you to reschedule it.
Okay. You're asking me to reschedule it. Yeah, you know. It's very interesting that you're asking me here.
We're finally talking. It hasn't felt like the right time. And so tonight, as I was walking in here, I was like, I think I'm just going to do it when he asked me how married I am. And you don't have to answer right now. Like, you can, babe, how married are you?
You know, I really loved when Anaya was kind of able to be on her own for a little bit, and she was chasing us around the gym, and we were working out together. I feel like every time we have a kid, it pauses growth,
Mm.
and it puts us back into a season of like survival and steady guys, wait,
Mhm.
everyone stay still. Let's not, you know what I'm saying? And you know, for me, I honestly believe that like we are done, you know, having kids. Not so much because I want to be in control, but I'm watching you and I know what you can take. And I'm kind of concerned, you know, just about like, you know, your well-being. Not that I know what's best for you, but you know, when we do lament, we often talk about, you know, where we're at, you know, and the fact that we like the position we're in, you know what I'm saying? Like how it's hard to go on date nights. It's hard to, and I miss you. I can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't understand. And I understand you need time. You know what I mean? Like that's obvious. I get it. I don't really know what postponing it's gonna do.
It's gonna give me time.
But like, I feel like I've been talking about this
Yeah, babe, but
for
I
a long time.
also just had a child like
Mm-hmm.
7 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even know how to help you understand.
I feel
No,
like
you don't.
I feel like it's just one of those things where it's kind of like you don't gotta get it, but get it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like one of those like, yeah. And so
I'm saying make it a new year, new you type situation.
oh my gosh, you want to wait until New Year's?
I think when Uzi is 6 months old, that's a really good time.
I think it's gonna give us enough time to forget about how we're feeling, and it's gonna, you know, I don't, and this is the, you know when I was home with the boys and I was like I'm not doing well,
Mm-hmm.
and I was trying to tell you,
Mm-hmm.
but you weren't hearing me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like I'm living that.
You're living that you're not doing well still,
Right.
and I'm not hearing you.
Right.
No, I really hear you.
Yeah.
This time I hear you.
Okay. So why aren't you listening?
I am listening.
Okay.
I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying please wait.
Okay. So are you gonna set the date?
Yes.
I definitely don't think we need to wait until January, but I feel like this is just gonna keep getting postponed. And if we do have another child, like, not that I won't love the child or whatever, but I am terrified of like how we'll be able to manage and will we be able to survive and thrive. I'm tired of surviving, and I feel like we've been in that season of like, okay, we need a bigger house and we need a bigger car and we need this and we finally, and it's like, oh, we got to make more room, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't like a lot of people around, and now we need people to help us manage our children.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, to be continued.
Babe, how married are you?
I'm so married that I communicate my true feelings despite how they make you feel. I try to be honest with you in a way that you can understand, but at the same time, like I don't want to be in a position where, you know, I feel like we won't make it, you know. And I know my limits. And so, you know, I feel like I'm married enough to tell you that. And I'm going to be sad too. Do you believe that? No?
I do not.
Yeah, I'm gonna be sad too.
I believe that's when you're gonna be like, okay, let's have everybody over. Let's have some cake, some ice cream. Let's celebrate.
I mean, best believe I'm gonna be excited. But like, it's not something to be shamed or like upset about.
I'm not trying to make you feel any shame. Do you feel like I'm putting shame on you?
I feel like you're upset that I'm gonna be happy, and that is exactly what's happening.
I don't know that I'm upset. And you're gonna be relieved. Wait, are you gonna be happy?
I'm going to be. I hopefully, like, after the pain goes away, I'm gonna be like, yes, this was a good decision. And if God wants to impregnate you again, He'll do that. You know what I'm saying? Like that. It's like 99.9. There's a percentage that it can happen. There's some type of percentage that it can happen again. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's happened out there before. Mm-hmm. If it has happened, I'm curious to know if anybody got paternity tests, DNA testing, because.
And that's we're not done. What?
I'm just saying that. Yeah, I feel like there should be some type of like. I just don't understand what we're doing here. I really don't. I feel like we were so on board. Your mom was trying to pitch in. We've been talking about this for a very long time.
Babe, I'm telling you that I'm not against the vasectomy. I think you're making a very wise decision. Thank you for not asking me to get my tubes tied or whatever. However, I need time to process this. Have you ever needed time to process something?
I don't nothing works on my time. I needed time.
Have you ever wished you had time to process something?
You want to know when I wished?
Lord Jesus, here we go.
When you said you're going to quit your job and I said, I just need a year. Please give me time to process this. And you just stopped looking for a job.
But, yeah. And so you want to know what happened?
I got on board and I got into gear and it kicked my butt.
It kicked your butt into gear.
Yeah.
What are you trying to kick my butt into gear up for? Nothing. I don't need to be kicked into gear.
Yeah, you do. Like it's certain things that you want to accomplish and things you want to do. And if you're pregnant, you cannot do that.
I'm not telling you that I want to be pregnant anymore. I'm saying I just need you to give me time to come to terms.
Sometimes when I'm trying to pull out, you hold on. I
can't have any more children.
Sometimes when I'm trying to stop.
That is TMI.
But it happens.
So what?
See? Some BS, man.
Why can't you have the same whatever that you have about this vasectomy during those moments?
Because your mind is all flustered. It doesn't go that way. And you know what it is. Stop acting like that. All right, Jesus. Lord.
And
I'm not saying it.
Oh my gosh.
You say it.
By myself? It's we. It's not an I. And that's just how married we are.